Welcome to the hottest real estate topics on the planet, keeping you up to date with all the creative ways to buy and sell real estate without bank qualifying, so anyone can build real income starting today. Here is another great show with Dealmaker Bill and Pete the Rookie.
All right, here we are at another episode of Flipping Houses for Rookies.
Here we are.
I'm $100 Bill.
I'm still Pete the Rookie.
I'm Naomi the Dealmaker.
She's gotten the torch passed to her.
It's flaming.
Give that to Emma, please. My phone is in my pocket. I'll be spending half my day, half the podcast paying attention to that thing. Episode number 79. You ready? You know what the episode is about, right?
I do. I took a sneak peek.
Yeah, we've been pushing this all over the internet. Emma says it's my new favorite topic. Why is it my favorite topic?
Because it's really good.
Yeah, and we get a lot of response from it.
No, it solves a huge problem in people's heads and in their lives, etc.
Good. Episode 79, Peter. Here we go. You got the mystery sandwich all ready to go.
Yep.
Should we give the name of the title at the end of the show?
Yeah. What the hell was that show about anyway? He was talking about this. He was talking about that.
Isn't it typed already on the title of the...
Is it?
Well, just read the script.
Yeah. All right, so let's stop screwing around. How to buy real estate without a loan.
What?
Yeah.
Without a loan?
That sounds crazy. You'd have to have a lot of money to do that, right?
No.
A lot of money.
You don't need any money.
What are you talking about?
No money. I didn't even think of that part. So the description in Facebook, let me see if I can read it here. For those of you that aren't in Facebook listening to the podcast, the description we put in Facebook is, don't try this with your realtor or your attorney. They will hate it and possibly create disdain for you too. How's that, Peter? After this podcast, you will see exactly who has been stopping you and why in the real estate investing business, making it so hard for you.
True that.
Do you feel like it's hard sometimes? I mean, we've been at it for 2 years. You feel like it's hard?
No. The only thing I feel is it's hard for me to squeeze some time sometimes with my schedule or other little things like that. But no, we kind of bought 2 houses this week, didn't we?
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's not what I'm talking about.
What?
I'm talking about learning real estate.
Oh, learning?
Yes. I mean, you're doing it now because we've been training you for 2 years. You've had carte blanche for 2 years. Whatever you wanted, you've gotten.
Well, it has been hard, but you know what's been hard?
What?
There's a lot to it, like any subject, and the trick is to hone it down to what's important.
Right.
And that's what you've been looking for, and I keep chasing it. And every month or two, it's not
different.
Completely different.
It's like, you thought you got it? Oh.
Yeah, and then there's a new script, and they go, wait a minute. Or like, well, let's lean a little more this way. We can just do all of it. Right. But what's the right thing to focus on? And especially for anybody starting out. I remember when I called you, it's like I had an idea that I could probably pull this off because I didn't have money. I didn't have a lot of loan money or private money, but there's some ways I learned I could do this, but I still would have to talk to you about it.
Right.
And it's worked out really well. And where we are now, I don't see it really changing. Like, oh, we can do this instead. No, I feel like we're at like home plate.
Yeah.
Round to home plate, not starting.
Right. Right.
What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
So
but back to your question on, is it hard?
Answered the question.
Well, that was Bill.
Right.
Bill.
He went around and around and around. We just went on the merry-go-round.
Bill.
We went for a little ride.
Excuse me. That was my truth.
Oh, okay.
That was his truth. And
here we go.
so, yeah, is it hard for what we do for real estate investing? And I think that because it's not hard, but it's unknown. And when you're dealing with an unknown and something that's not commonplace, it's becoming commonplace.
Right.
It makes it feel difficult. Kind of like people that are breaking a world record. Mm-hmm. That world record is very breakable. But since nobody's done it, it's, but once you've done it, you realize, gosh, that was actually really simple. And I think that that's what we're here today for.
Yeah.
To help people realize This is really simple.
Well, we've done I know I have done the hard work.
Right.
And I know recently you have, and I know for the last 2 years Peter's going through it. That's what he's talking about.
Yeah.
That's my answer. And her answer, because she's reasonable, is you've seen the cream of the crop.
Yeah. So here's exactly what I'm talking about, so I can fully get the audience to fully understand what I'm talking about.
Bring it home, Bill.
So you wake up one day and you say, I want to become a real estate investor. Right? Because it's really that way. Whether it be you heard my podcast, you saw a seminar, you read a book, somewhere along the line somewhere, you made a decision, I want to do this real estate investing. For whatever reason. You want to make money, you want freedom, you want to quit your job, whatever it may be. Mm-hmm. So you consciously made a decision, I want to be a real estate investor.
Right.
Okay. From that point, how long did it take you to get your first check? What did you have to go through to get your first check?
That's a great question.
That's what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And that is the confusion.
Yeah.
Because like what you said, I think both of you have legitimate points. Like how long, what did you have to do to get your first check?
Mm-hmm.
Now, some people, and I know, and I can name names, which I'm not going to do, including myself, have spent tens and tens and tens of thousands of dollars and countless hours of study. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you went to a Kiyosaki event, right? Mm-hmm. And nothing wrong with him. He does a great job. Mm-hmm. Right?
I've also done a good deal of Kiyosaki training.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's all good.
Yep.
I mean, I've done Ron LeGrand, I've done Richard Roop, I can't even remember. There's more. What's his name?
Brown?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Lou Brown stuff. I mean, I bought a lot of stuff. I bought websites. I can't tell you the amount of money that I spent.
Mm-hmm. And time. And energy. And resources.
Flights, hotels.
Yeah.
This year we were in 3 different states.
Yeah.
Right. So here's my point in talking about this today, is from the time you make the decision, for whatever reason, you want the financial freedom, you want to babysit your grandkid every single day, and you want to pay your bills, I don't know, I have no idea. You're having a baby. I mean, Jesse's having a baby. She needs money. You know what I mean? She wanted to get married, so she started doing this, and it didn't happen. Right? Because she went for a few months and she petered out. Right? Because how long can you go, like you've been saying, like Peter's been saying, how long can you go with the work and no paycheck?
Yeah, it's like you go to work for a week, and you don't get a check. I'll go back next week.
Right.
It's 2 weeks, you don't get a check. I'll go back a third. How many weeks would you do that and just just keep plugging away? Of course, when you get the check, it's a pretty good size. But you have to have some patience and some skin.
Right.
And look beyond your nose.
Right.
To do that.
And I know that,
and be desperate otherwise, and not have any other choice. But you need something good,
right? And
hang in there.
I don't know if Jesse's on, but if Jesse will cringe, and I'll get shit for this later. But in our society, we have this thing called a millennial, and they don't want to wait. And that's not even a derogatory thing. It's just our generation that our generation is replacing us doesn't like to wait.
Yeah, a lot of people don't. But I think they're a little less patient than before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? And I have a whole philosophy on that, which we aren't going to go into now, but it really comes down to our education system. Our education system is so screwed that we're educating people through Hollywood.
Well, and I think technology also, Bill. I mean, with technology, the instant response is so instant. I mean, everything is, why order a book, a hardcover book, when you can get it instantly downloaded, and on it goes.
My sons can't wait if it isn't a millisecond before they hit the button and the screen comes up. They just go crazy if they're waiting.
Like, what's wrong with the internet?
I'm waiting 2 seconds for my responses. What's wrong?
Yeah.
Just expect it to be instant.
Auto replies.
Well, now that we're into it, I just keep so I do a lot of it.
Don't hold back, Bill. This is everything on the table.
No, hold back.
So the point that I'm trying to make is that when you go to school, your 12 years of school, grade school and high school, is there a successful person in there showing you their successful actions?
No.
So you get. I mean, really think about it, Naomi. Think about it. I mean, we're going to jump in the profound pool.
Right.
I mean, really, you could probably go to the 5th or 6th grade and have enough education.
Yeah.
I mean, you learn how to read and write.
Yeah.
You learn how to do basic math.
Yep.
And what else do you need? I mean,
Yep.
so maybe a bilingual. I mean, if you're in a place where you need to know Spanish and American or English, then that's okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm. You just described my father.
Yeah.
Come to this country, couldn't speak English, wound up in a $300,000 house on the golf course with CEOs as his clients.
Right.
And a lot of people, photos, generals in his house, because he's a good guy and worked hard.
So,
you know.
So our school system struggles monetarily to just give basics. They don't teach success. So you get a guy like me that you could say I'm successful. You ask me, I tell you I'm not successful, but you could say I'm successful because I mean I pretty much do what I want when I want, and I always figure out how to pay for it.
Right.
Right. So you take a guy like me, and I don't go to the elementary school and teach kids how to flip houses.
Right.
Or how to run a business.
The library did want you to come, though.
Yes. Whatever. We need to do that.
I left several messages. That's it.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a support ticket. Anyways, so
that's good positioning.
My point is so if you don't directly know me or if you don't buy one of my courses, how are you going to know what I know? So what happens is and so let's say wealthy families, they educate their kids through mentorship or coaching, right? Or just by pure observation. I mean, that's what my kids have done. Both my kids, I mean, I've been an entrepreneur for 30 some odd years, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you ask either one of my kids, especially Jessie, because she's been a little bit more involved than Emma. Emma's involved now, but not as much, right? I mean, Jessie was flipping houses with me when I was traveling, right? Emma's good at the SEO business and all that. She's really good at that. And now that she's part of the flipping houses business, I mean, she watches the videos, and she actually told me not too long ago, she's like, Dad, I think I could do this, which is cool.
Awesome, right? Emma.
Yeah. So my point is that if you're lucky enough to be around one of those people, you learn successful actions.
Yes,
right?
you do.
So what happens if you're not? What happens if you're around someone that doesn't have successful actions? What happens? Go ahead.
I was just going to say, you have to surround yourself. You have to make that your intention.
First of all, you have to realize that people around you that are your opinion leaders, like your mommy and daddy, aren't successful, and you can't listen to what they say, which is hard within itself.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And then you need to go find somebody that is successful and say, oh, by the way, I'm taking his advice and not yours, which is not, you're not going to do that at 15 years old. You know what I mean?
Also very difficult. Yeah. Wait until you're out of the house, everybody.
Yeah. So what tends to happen is the easy thing to do is to watch TV.
And so people are watching.
So they watch A&E, and they think that the house is flipped in 19 minutes, and they think that that's a successful action.
Right.
And they're like, I want to flip houses. And they have no idea what it means to flip a house. They saw it on TV, and Hollywood is freaking fake.
Yeah.
It's made up. How do I know? Peter and Jesse did a show. I watched it with my own eyes. It's 100% fake.
Yeah.
Hey, I demoed that kitchen.
Yeah. But you see what I'm saying? So now we have a society full of these people. We call them millennials, but take that out of it. We have our generation that says, "Oh, well, I saw it on TV. It only takes a half an hour. I can do that."
Right.
So they have the instant gratification because it only took a half an hour on TV.
Right.
And their success, their reality of success was taught to them from Hollywood. So now they go into the real world and think, oh, this is how it's going to happen. Because it's everywhere. I mean, it's every TV show. It's on the Internet. It's everywhere they go. It's in the newspapers. Wherever they go, this stuff is there because the people that promote Hollywood are really good promoters.
Right. And then when they realize it took actually 20 to 100 houses to find that one house, and each one of those 20 to 100 houses took maybe anywhere from half an hour to an hour. Right. And all of that...
In weeks and weeks and
weeks. And weeks and weeks to find that one house...
They don't make it.
And then plus all the other stuff that pulled in. Like, once you realize it, I think it's, it's, like I said before, it's simple.
Right.
But...
Okay, so that's just one concept. So what you've been learning may not be what you need to learn.
Right.
So you need to pick your mentors. You need to pick your coach. And I don't even mean that you have to go buy a coach for $30,000. I mean, if you're listening to your dad, just make sure your dad is giving you the results or he's getting the results you want to get. So if you want to get $1 million, is your dad a millionaire?
Right.
If not, then just really look at that.
Right.
That's not even the point of today's show. This is just a side note that we're just kind of chit-chatting about.
No, but that's important.
It's very important.
I've watched people succeed and not succeed, and I decided a while ago that the first step is at least learn from the successful people. Like, what else would you do? Read that book.
Exactly.
I called you.
Right.
I read some books. I didn't just go, call my realtor, can you get me a house?
Yeah.
They don't just appear. You have to learn how to do things. So I surround myself with successful people, whether it's books or live.
And I think you hit on a key thing, books. Because if you think
have to read a lot.
somebody says, well, I don't know any millionaires or successful people, start reading the books. And you're going to...
It's a valid point because the reason why I read books is to get other viewpoints.
Yeah.
I could see how other people look at things.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like if we put a pen in the middle of the table here, you're going to see one thing, Peter's going to see another thing, and I'm going to see, because just to the angle that we're looking at it.
Yeah.
Right? So get a different angle. See what somebody else has to say about it. Do you have to believe it? No.
Right.
Which brings me to the next topic, which is the difference between an amateur and a pro.
Yeah.
Now, Peter and I had talked about this, and I don't think I've told you this, Peter, but I've actually conjugated in my head the difference between an amateur and a pro. And we were talking about it being money, and I think it has nothing to do with money. I think it has everything to do with information. So what I figured out, and I could be wrong, but you can handle me.
No,
if
there's a
you want to.
definition. If you make money, it's something you consider professional. But that's
Right.
just. But how'd you get there is really a more important thing.
So here's my definition of between an amateur and a pro. An amateur believes all the information is important. A pro only uses information that will get him results. And that's my definitions.
No, I like that because my point before was there's so much information in any subject.
Sure.
How do you whittle it down to the main components?
Right.
Sure.
And they don't do that in school.
Right.
To harp on school, they teach everything and they test and ask questions on anything instead of what's important. One of my students I've had for 14 years as a music student just went to Harvard, and she's taking a few lessons on break right now, and she gets like 4 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
They give her so much work that they can't get it done.
Right.
So how much is that is important?
Right.
That they get 4 hours of sleep?
Yeah.
Oh, no, we want you to get 8 hours of sleep. Well, don't do that to the kids then, you idiot.
Right.
How's that supposed to be helpful? So the importance of any education is the important parts, and get rid of the stuff that's non-factual, and that's what you're talking about.
So
you have to be smart to do that.
That's right. So the computer business named it well. What'd they say? Crap in, crap out?
Yeah.
Something like that? Or
Yeah.
garbage in, garbage out?
Yeah, garbage
Sure.
in, yeah.
Right? So it's exactly what you're talking about. So all I'm saying is and I'm going to go over what I think we've nailed after 2 years of training people, and I think we've nailed this, and I'm going to tell you why in a minute, okay?
Yep.
So what you need to do is reverse engineer it. The first thing you need to do is decide what result do you want. And then ask yourself, okay, how do I get that result? And then when you start asking, how do I get that result, you have to start evaluating information, like, is this information going to give me the result? And when you're an amateur, you don't know, so you're trying to absorb all the information.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, if you really want to educate yourself, a true education, a definition of education is you actually absorb data or theory or observe something, and you have the ability to apply it when you're done. Like, for example, if I want to teach my kid how to be an auto mechanic and I send him to auto mechanic school, the test should be fix this broken car.
Yep.
Not sit down and answer these 100 questions because that's memorization.
Right.
Which is why a lot of like you're saying, this girl that does all this work, it's all memorization. So when she gets out into the real world and has to apply it, is she going to remember all that? No, because she did it 20 hours a day and she was tired. She was exhausted. She didn't assimilate that information.
Right.
She didn't make that information her own.
It wasn't actual experience.
No.
It was just mental knowledge.
One of my gals, straight A's, graduates high school, and I asked her point blank, do you remember any of it? No.
Yeah.
She didn't lag? No. Straight A's? No.
Yeah.
I was flabbergasted.
Yeah.
Mortified.
So the approach that we take, meaning in my training system, is that we give you just enough theory that you can go do it. Okay? And what I'm going to talk about right now actually took me 14 years to figure out, and we're in the middle of putting my last course together. I think not my last course, but it's going to be for this year anyways. And I really expect to take what it took me 14 years to do and teach it to you in less than a day. And that's what I expect to do. So I got 14 years worth of experience, and I'm going to compile the exact thing that you can do to get an immediate result.
Bill, that's a tremendous value.
I think so.
That's,
We're going to find out.
yeah.
We're testing it, and I'm getting a hell of a response right now, and I haven't even finished the course yet. So which is the title, because I was originally going to call it, last week, we were talking about a couple weeks, I was going to how to buy real estate for $100 deposit with bad credit and no risk. And I'm like, after testing it, it's like it's not even that complicated. It's how to buy real estate without a loan.
Without a loan.
Without a loan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. It's actually a trick title.
Why?
Because you don't even have to buy real estate. You just got to control it.
Oh, right. Yeah, you can't say control because they wouldn't get that at all.
No.
So
Right.
that's too deep. So that's fine. Buy is fine. But you're absolutely right. I tell people that what I do. I bought a house, bought another one. Well, how'd you do it? I tell them what I did. Like, where'd you get the money? Oh, I didn't pay the guy for 3 months.
Right.
What? You bought it? How much? I bought a condo. The guy next to me bought a condo. My condo leaks some water into his, so we're on the phone. Like, I'm getting the carpet cleaned for him. That's nice, and the plumbing fixed. He said, "How much did you pay for yours?" 50. How much did you pay for yours? 70. He's. I don't know. I can't explain it to you on the phone, buddy. But they just don't have the data. They just go do what they see around them. You get a realtor, you buy the house, and you wait.
Yeah.
And maybe in 10 years or 20 years, you start turning a profit. Or I don't know. I don't know what the. I don't have that much time. Number one.
Right. Right.
So I had to do something way smarter than that.
Right.
And I've talked to people that have bought 5 houses in their lifetime.
Yeah.
They get a loan. The renters pay it off. Then they get another one with a loan. And by the time they're 60, they got 5 houses and they're paid off. Now they can start living. And the guy's got bad knees. His back is bad. He's going in for surgery.
Yeah.
Now he's going to start living.
Yeah.
We bought 2 houses this week. I don't have time to wait that long.
Right. Right. Yeah.
All right. So the one thing that I do want to talk about is you need to, if you haven't done this, I'm talking to my listeners. If you haven't done this, this is an absolute positive must. Which reminds me, Emma, did you, last week when we were on that, it wasn't last week, it was the week before, because last week had a snowstorm. Episode number 78, did you get that transcribed? Are you working on that? Is that on your battle plan? So it's on your battle plan, or you're not? Are you working on it? I haven't done anything. You're working on it. She's just nodding at me like, what the hell is she doing over there?
Bill, she can't hear what you're saying. She doesn't hear a word you're saying. She's just being agreeable.
She doesn't want me to put attention on her, I guess. So episode number 78, I think it's so important that I actually, as you hear, I have Emma transcribing it, and we're going to share it later on. But it was called "What Your Realtor and Attorney Don't Want You to Know About Real Estate Investing." And I'm going to come back at it right now. So what we're talking about here is we're talking about the ability to use an option agreement. Okay. Now, Naomi and I were alone last week because you were off doing some personal enhancement, which is a big secret. We're not going to tell you what that is, but actually, Peter was off doing his thing.
I got my haircut.
You did get
Personal
your haircut.
enhancement.
Yeah. So I'm going to read. And Peter found these books. So it's
30 years ago when I started looking into real estate.
Great book.
Yeah.
So it's called The Essential Dictionary of Real Estate. Over 2,000 words and phrases defined and cross-listed. Okay. Emma, you put this in last week's feed, didn't you? It's written by Thomas Hemphill and Charles Hemphill. Okay, so it's an old book. I don't even think it's in print anymore, but you can buy it on Amazon. I think I might have bought all of them. Because we bought
I bought it. Yeah, we bought a batch.
Like 15 or 20 of them. We might have bought all of them.
Yeah, but people will give up and sell them.
There's 2. There's 2 left, Emma said. Anyways, that might be not the case after this. That's on Amazon, right? Anyways, so the definition of option in this book is a continuing contract or offer. A continuing contract or offer by which the owner of real estate gives a prospective purchaser the right to buy the property at a fixed price within a specific time period. The interesting thing is this says if the potential buyer does not purchase the property under the terms of the option, the money paid for the option is forfeited. Right? If the purchase is made, however, the money paid for the option sometimes is credited. Where is it here? So I lost my page here. Sometimes is credited to the purchase.
I've never heard sometimes. I thought it always was.
Yeah, exactly.
Explain me that one.
Yeah, well, you don't have to use. You can charge somebody for the option and not have it go towards the purchase.
Yeah.
The point is that if Naomi has a property, and I say to her, Naomi, how much are you willing to sell for?
$200,000.
And I say, okay, I agree. How much time will you give me? Will you give me 5 years to pay the $200,000?
Well, let's talk about a monthly payment.
Well, forget about that for a minute.
Okay, 5 years is fine.
Yeah. So, or just even say, no, I only will give you 2 years. I say, is 5 years fine? No, I want my money in at least 2 years because I'm going to retire in 2 years.
Right. Okay.
So I just agreed with the seller to give her $200,000 within 2 years. Okay. Here's the magic. This is the absolute positive magic. Where am I getting the $200,000 from?
The other buyer.
Right. And this is what I think you've been trying to say for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
So I've agreed to pay her $200,000. In conventional real estate, I would go to the bank and get her the $200,000.
Yep.
I
Correct.
would create some sort of an obligation with somebody else. I would go to a hard money lender. I would go to a private lender. I might even use my own money to give her the $200,000. Right?
Yep. A loan.
That's right. As soon as I
Yeah.
do that,
Interest.
what has to happen? As soon as I draw that money, what has to happen?
Well, you need to start getting money back to pay that loan.
Yeah.
Somebody, whoever's money it is, whether it's my money, the banker's money, or your Uncle Joe's money, they're going to want a rate of return. They're not just going to give you the $200,000 for free. I mean, some might, but that's a very small, minuscule number.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So as soon as you draw the $200,000, you take a loan to satisfy Naomi for her deal. That's what most people want. Okay, now let's talk about this. If I were to come along and say, Naomi, I want to buy your house, and she says I want $200,000, and I say to her, I only want to pay $190, right? She agrees to the $190 because she's easy. She's not, because she's easy.
I can give you a really bad time.
Yeah. So she wants to pay $190. I mean, she allows me to pay $190. I go to the bank and I get the money, right? Okay. So now what happens? I go to the bank. Now we're going to do a closing within 30 days.
Okay.
Okay. There's no option. This is just a conventional way of doing it. We negotiate. So you took a 5% discount. Okay.
Ouch.
So on top of the 5% discount, here's what happens. The realtor that found me the house gets a commission.
Yeah.
The banker gets his money.
The attorney.
The attorney gets his money. The title company gets their money. And the insurance man gets his money. That's 5 people.
And the taxes.
Yeah, the tax is going to be whatever the tax is going to be. Or the
plus
conveyance tax,
plus any
yeah.
repairs that need to be done to the property for the bank to give the mortgage.
Yeah, forget about all that. Let's just keep it simple. There's 5 people: the attorney, the banker, and when I say attorney, we're in a judicial state. It could be a
Right.
closing agent. So it's
Right.
the attorney or closing agent. It's the banker. It's the title company, the insurance guy, and the realtor. Okay, so if I were to do this, so I come along and say you got a house for $200,000. We negotiate $190,
Yeah.
right? And I buy the house. That's pretty common, right? That's about how
Yeah,
most.
it's pretty common.
That's how most
with
do it.
a typical mortgage and
Okay.
all of that fun stuff.
What happens if I found you without the realtor? You're selling a house, and I found you without a realtor.
Yeah.
And I ask you, just like I started this conversation with, Naomi, would you sell me the house for $200,000? And I say, I mean, I ask, how much do you want for the house? You say $200,000.
I say 200,000.
And I say, okay.
Cool.
So first of all, you just got 5% more money.
Yeah.
Second of all, you didn't pay the realtor. You didn't pay the attorney. You didn't pay the banker. You didn't pay the title company. You didn't pay the insurance guy.
It's pretty mind-blowing. All that money. Let's go on vacation.
Right?
Florida.
Don't start, Naomi.
So now, okay, so I promised to pay you $200,000. Where am I getting the $200,000?
I don't care as long as I get the $200,000.
Right. So here's the point: is I don't have to apply for a loan because I'm going to go find my buyer.
Yeah. Are
Who's
you the
going to
buyer?
and Pete is the buyer. Right?
Okay.
Today I am. You're the seller. He's the deal maker. I'm the buyer.
The
All
buyer is going to bring the money to the table. And this is what Pete's been trying to explain for months, and I think we finally figured it out. I finally figured it out, what Peter's been saying.
Yay.
So the point is the buyer is bringing the money to the table. So what am I doing? I went and found you, the seller,
Yeah.
without a realtor, without an attorney, without a banker, without a title guy, without an insurance guy. Because you already have insurance in place. You already have a loan in place. Everything's in place already.
It's already there.
So let me ask you this question. Is the realtor going to want you to know how to do an option agreement?
Oh, I think that deal just lost them about $10,000.
6% on $200,000 would be $12,000.
$12,000. I wouldn't imagine they would want you to know
Okay,
about
so
that.
how about my attorney that doesn't do a closing?
Let's see. Well, that just lost him about $700.
Well, with title insurance, probably about $1,500
15.
because
Yeah.
he makes half the title insurance money. We just paid it.
I don't think
just
he'd
bought-
be advertising that, Bill.
Yeah. Do you think that the banker would? How much money do you think the banker loses?
Ooh, on amortized interest?
Yeah, hundreds
That's
of thousands.
hundreds of about 400,000, 500,000
Right.
on that $200,000 loan.
Right.
Bill, you should try to sell your book through banks, like on the counter, just have a little display
Yeah, right.
and sell the books there. Because,
Yeah.
people go to the banks for loans, and they would probably like to see your book there. I mean, wouldn't that be good? I mean, isn't that good marketing, positioning? I'll pitch it to my banks, see when it comes out.
You know,
Put on the counter.
People's Bank, if you have an account at People's Bank, they have a table for all of their businesses to advertise. It's your right. I'm just saying.
About once a week they rotate it around.
That's okay.
Jim's Home Repair.
We can keep rotating back in. How to buy a house without a loan.
Obviously, the banker's not going to want you to do that, right?
Well,
How about the title company? How much do they make? They're about $1,500.
Yeah.
How about the insurance guy? Is he going to write a new insurance policy? Is he going to get his commission?
Yeah.
Okay. So these are the people that you've been listening to, right? These are the people that have been telling you this is how you buy real estate.
Wait a minute. That's how they want us to buy the real estate. Wait a minute.
Right.
That's how they...
If we do it with this option agreement that we're talking about, do we shortcut all of that?
Yeah, we do. Yes.
Are these people going to want you to know that you can do this?
I don't think they'd be advertising it. Not if they're good business people.
That they may lose their job. If too many people do what we're doing, what would it do to the real estate
They
industry?
would come work with us. The industry's going to change, Bill.
Well, how many times... Well, you're a realtor. How many people... When we have our meetings, we have a realtor every time. A couple of realtors
Right.
show up.
Right. So that's the interesting thing now, right? Now, just listen to what Peter just said. We have a realtor that shows up.
Yeah.
One for one, they're like, I never knew you could do this.
Yeah.
They're a trained realtor.
Yeah.
They work for a broker, for big firms.
Yeah, and they no way do they tell them about this stuff.
Right. Okay, so let's just assume that your attorney or your realtor or your banker knows about an option.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just assume that they're not being covert or passive aggressive and saying, "Yeah, I'll help you," right? So they can still get their fees. Ask them to produce an option agreement and see what you get.
Well, first of all, Bill,
If you,
they're not going to even know.
I'm telling you. I'm cutting you off. I'm telling you honestly. If you think I'm full of shit, or if you think that what I'm talking about is hype, then you're in the wrong place. All you need to do is to figure out how much truth I'm telling you is. Call your realtor, call your attorney,
Yep.
and ask them to present you with an option agreement, and you will know what I'm talking about.
Not
Yeah.
even the attorneys?
Not even attorneys.
Oh.
No.
So I thought they might have that, but no, huh? I've mentioned this a couple of times on the one of the shows a few times, but it's relevant again that my cousin married a fella, and they had a nice big house they're moving into, and had like 5 kids among the two of them from 2 marriages.
Oh,
right?
wow.
and they're in this house with one bathroom. So they got that beautiful house, but they couldn't sell the other little nice house in a really, really good town in Connecticut. And some lady calls up and says, "Would you sell it to me on lease option," or however she described it?
Yeah.
Because she had learned it somehow.
Right.
Not the realtor didn't put it together, but some
Right.
woman who she was desperate. That's all she could do.
Right.
That's all she could. I have a little money down, and I'll pay. I'll promise to pay. I've never heard a peep of a problem. And she called them and set it up because she had some inkling of how this worked. The realtor didn't straighten that out for
Right.
them. Just
Good for
kept
her.
waiting for a buyer to come along, and it wasn't a house in this town that anybody was really looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Like a little older, one bath. Yeah, it wasn't. But for this lady,
It's
it was
perfect.
fabulous. She had a house. Thank God I have a house.
Wow.
And they didn't know about it. My cousins didn't know about it. They got lucky somebody called them.
Yeah.
Good.
Wow.
So, remember how before we were talking about reading books and changing the perspective of how you look at something?
Yep.
So let's do that right now for our listeners.
Let's read a book.
Because I know that this happened to you,
Yeah.
Peter. I know this happened to you.
What?
So, there are actually people out there, and more than you would ever believe, that if you give them all the money for a house, they don't know what to do with it. It's actually a problem for them to receive $200,000. Am I wrong?
I have the opposite story for you when I'm done, but
I don't want the opposite story.
that's interesting. Another way. I'll finish your story. Yeah, sure. I can think of people that would
sound
know what to
too
do.
convincing. So
Oh, yeah.
how many times have we sat
I'm
in
just-
houses?
look, it's not a problem for me personally, so I'm that stretch my own imagination.
But we're
a
not
little
talking to you. I'm talking about how many people have we sat in their houses. Naomi, I know you and I have done that. How about
Yeah.
that chick up in, what was it, up on the mountain?
Oh, yeah.
She had like
Yes.
4 houses.
Yes, she did.
And she was actually going to do owner financing with us
Yeah.
because she didn't know what to do with the money.
Yeah.
There's actually people out there that have enough money that if you give them the money, they have to go figure out how to make it work for themselves somewhere else.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying now. I was thinking it different what you were asking. But they
They haven't mentally gotten themselves to the next.
We had an investor. I mean, well, you talk about the investors that work all their life to buy 5 multifamily houses, and those people actually think that they have a savings account.
Mm-hmm.
So when it's time for them to like retire and go live in the Bahamas, they're like, oh, I'm going to go to the savings account. I'm going to cash in. I'm going to get my money. I'm just going to go do it. And it's not that way. But that's just one kind of a person. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because the next thing I want to talk about is what I've talked about so many other shows, but I'm gonna hit a grand slam with it right now. Match your message with your market.
You haven't said that in a while.
Right?
Let's see it connected to this one.
So if you were to call a for sale by owner, how is that matching your message with your market?
Well, one, he's got a house for sale.
He's ready to act now.
Okay, so
Usually.
most for sale by owners don't want to pay realtor fees.
Yeah, they're not
That's
listed.
why they're
It's
selling it on
It's
their
not
own.
listed with the realtor, so yeah.
Right. And it's usually because they have an upset with the realtor. Or they're buried in the house and they can't afford to pay the realtor. It's one or the other.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So what kind of people are we looking for?
People like that.
People that don't want to pay, don't want to deal with
Right.
a realtor and are buried in a house.
Right.
And they don't know how to get out of it. And the realtor can't help them either when it's that bad. If they're really buried, they can't even help them.
Right. Okay. Now watch this. Most for sale by owners, or a lot of for sale by owners, are selling their house because they want to move on and change something. There's a shift in their life, correct?
Yeah.
Definitely.
What do?
We help them with that.
We help.
We make
We're
that-
looking for people that have a shift in their life.
Right. We
And-
make that happen.
Because one of the definitions of a prospect for us is someone that has a house that's causing them a problem.
Yeah.
In other words, they've made a decision. They want to move on in their life, right? And they can't because this house is holding them back.
Right.
Now, they don't want to lose money on the house. In a lot of cases, they can't afford it because they've leveraged it so much with the bank, they can't get out.
Right. They're
And we
trapped.
and we can help them with that.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay? How about this one? Accidental landlord.
Oh, yeah. We run into that.
What is an accidental landlord?
They own a home. They're trying to sell it. It won't sell. They're hemorrhaging money
Monthly.
monthly. and they have to do some sort of solution quick, so they rent it out. They don't want to rent it out. They don't want to be a landlord, but they have to.
Right. So what do they want?
They just want to be done with it. They want to sell the house. They don't want to have the headache of it.
I'm going to shortcut it for you. They want debt relief. They don't want to make that $1,500 a month payment.
Yeah.
They're not even worried about the equity at that point. They're making the payment and they can do it, but it's like you said, hemorrhaging.
Yeah.
So they don't want to make the $1,500 a month payment. So what do? They put a tenant in there,
right,
for $1,300, $1,500, $1,800, whatever, and they relieve themselves of that payment.
Right, but now they get the headache.
Now they have a new problem.
They have a new headache. Yeah.
So what do we do? What do we do? What do we look for all the time?
That's the perfect person to help.
Because
they're open to waiting for their money. They need a solution. They're flexible. They're motivated. They're ready to act.
And we can come in and say, just keep making the payments, and you don't have to worry about the toilets and shoveling driveway and cutting the grass. You're not a landlord anymore. We're going to make you the bank.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
So do you find that on a for sale by owner list? Oh, yeah.
You definitely do.
How about this one? Here's a message to market match that kicks your ass. Go in the rental section of any newspaper or any online ad and look for people that are renting houses. Now, there is one problem with this. A lot of rental places now use agencies.
Yes.
So you hit the agencies. But
agencies or property managers.
Yeah.
But you definitely do find them. I was telling you about when I was calling them. Look for the ones that are listed by the owners.
Right.
And, yeah.
So what a perfect message to market match. They're already doing a terms deal.
Mm-hmm.
They're already doing a terms deal. So now you come along and say, I'm going to keep giving you payments and take all the responsibility away from you.
Yeah.
Are you willing to do that? And they're like, what?
They love it.
And you just bought a deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now think about this. For sale by owners. When you buy a house from a for sale by owner, do you need a realtor?
No, you don't.
Do you
Darn.
need do you need a bank?
Nope. There's already one in place.
Right. Do you need an insurance guy?
You don't. Well, you do have to have insurance, but
They already have insurance.
Yeah.
Maybe you might want to add some, but that's your own prerogative.
exactly.
Do you need a title company?
Sorry, what company?
Title company?
That's already done.
Yeah. And do you need a closing agent, like an attorney or something like that?
No, you don't.
Okay. So basically, the way we're going to do this is, I want to clarify this. So what is an option?
It is, let's see what the definition is again. Verbatim.
It's an agreement that two people have on how much you're going to pay and when you're going to pay it.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't say you have to pay it. It's allowing you to go find your buyer to pay it.
Gives you the option.
It gives you the ability to go look for someone.
Mm-hmm.
And because you have signed this option agreement, you actually get equity in the property, an equity share in the property.
Yes.
And you don't have to be licensed to do this because now you're a part equity owner. So I sign an option agreement with you, right? And I have the right to buy your property. Okay, now watch this. The option allows us to have the ability to go find a buyer.
It does.
It says that. It says we're going to go find a buyer. In other words, AKA, we're going to go borrow the money from our buyer to pay you. Or actually, we're going to get the buyer to give you the money. So do you need a loan?
You don't.
Because we're going to go find the buyer to get the money.
The buyer has the money. Exactly.
So we don't need the loan. Now, I didn't say that you can't buy real estate without a loan. I said you can't. You don't. That's what the title is, right? How to buy real estate without a loan.
That's right.
So it's you getting a loan. The end buyer's got to get a loan, but you don't. But they're going to live in the house. You're not.
That's true. I mean, there is the type of deal where, you can do seller financing for the entire length of the amount, but that's a whole other thing.
Okay, so that's
what my deal is. My deal is that by the time the 10 years rolls around, it's paid for fully on owner finance. There's no loan at all anywhere, for me at least.
I think some sellers may prefer to do that. Yeah.
Okay, so before I get to that, remind me, I want to get back to it, but I want to make one more point before we do that.
Yeah.
So that's to purchase the house.
Yes.
Okay, now what about the occupancy? Right. So if I come along and say to you, "Give me 5 years to pay it off," somebody has to pay the monthly expenses, right?
Exactly.
So if I let my buyer in the house and say, "Peter, you can buy this house for $200,000," which, by the way, if I'm buying it from you for $200,000, I'm probably selling it to him for $210,000.
At least.
Okay.
I would imagine.
So I make $10,000 for doing it. Okay. And what were you just doing? Whatever you're doing it makes static. That's interesting. Huh. Nothing. So if sorry about that. Because I'm like a freak about the static. We have so many. When we first started, we had a lot of problems with static, and I don't want that to happen again. Huh? Okay. So if I have an agreement with you that I'm going to pay you $200,000 and I need 5 years to do it.
Right.
Okay. Now I need to solve the problem of, well, what about the monthly bill?
Yeah, what about that?
So I'm going
to
let Peter in the house and have an occupancy agreement, which is he can occupy the house under these rules and pay this much money until he's qualified.
Mm-hmm.
We call that a lease.
Right. It's a little bit different than a tenant.
Yeah, because he actually owns the house.
Mm-hmm.
He's fixing the toilet.
It's so different.
He's shoveling the driveway. He's cutting the grass because I just became the banker.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you have anybody listening, if you have a mortgage and your toilet breaks, would you call them up and say, "My toilet's broken"?
I'll call the bank.
Yeah. If the heat doesn't work, if the heat doesn't work, you're going to call them up and say, "My heat doesn't work." No. If you have a hurricane and it blows the house away, you're going to call them up and say, "My house is gone"? No. You can't do that.
Yeah.
That's the position you're in
funny.
with what we're talking about right now. When you do it the way I'm talking about, that you become the bank because you're giving him an option agreement tied together with his occupancy agreement, which is the lease. Mm. So I'm allowing you to use the house because Naomi allowed me to do it, so I'm allowing you to do it. Mm-hmm. So I already have built-in financing, and I'm allowing you to live in the house, pay monthly, and come up with the $200,000 within a 2-year period. And I've got a 5-year lease with her.
Mm-hmm. That's a pretty sweet deal. Most people only get 30 days to come up with the $200,000.
Right. Now what? That's right. Exactly.
Yeah, you get 2 years.
Exactly. So now when he moves in, he's going to. Now I paid you $100.
Yes.
To consummate the deal. We'll say.
Yes.
Say I gave you $100 to make the option agreement. Right. Peter paid me $10,000.
Yeah. You're just selling paperwork.
So it's money now, money monthly, money later. So money now is Peter gives me a $10,000 deposit. I make $9,900. He pays me $200 a month positive cash flow. And when he sells, I'm going to make $10,000, the difference between $200 and $210 and what I sold to him for.
Right. So that's $20,000 in the money now and money later, and then 2 years.
Yeah, so it's 24. That's another $5,000.
Yeah.
So it's $25,000. You just made $25,000 for calling a for sale by owner or somebody that has a house for rent, saying the right things to them.
Yeah.
And getting them to agree to this.
Exactly. That's a little bit more than the $12,000 real estate agent.
Right. Do they want you to know how to do this?
I would imagine not. You know, I remember the first time that I talked about deals to the first broker that my license hung with. And it was like this dead, cold silence dropped into the room. I said the word deals. I said, I'm starting to study about deals. How to structure deals. What do you know about it? It's almost like you could see the shudder go up their spines. Well, just stay focused on being a good real estate agent.
Right.
And I'm like, oh.
All right, so I told you I was going to come back to something. What was it?
I was talking about my condo.
No.
You were talking about seller financing, but all the way through.
Yeah, I was using my condo as an example of finance all the way through. No loan at all. It was just be paid by
where for the full 10 to 30 years they're accepting payments on it.
Yeah, well, there's some deals that the people will just wait.
That's owner financing. That's different than a lease option.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're selling it on a lease
right,
option.
and that's what I did say is completely different, but
Okay, so get my point now. So So basically, you can call somebody. You can call, and for sale by owners are easy to find. You just go onto Google and just type in your city and for sale by owner, and you'll get a whole bunch of them. Right?
Yeah.
We have a script. Go get the script. It's at flippinghouses.club/FISBO script. It's there. Go get the script and start calling people. Now we're finding we call between 4 and 6 people, and somebody will say yes.
Mm-hmm.
And out of those people that say yes, about between 5 and 8 of them will do a deal with us.
Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly.
So it's just a numbers game.
Yeah.
Okay. So even if you're not us and it was double that, could you do a deal within 30 days?
I think the people that are listening to this show definitely could.
Right.
Absolutely.
Do you need a loan?
You do not need a loan.
Do you need permission?
You do not need permission
Do you
except
need a
from
license?
yourself. Just tell yourself you can do it.
Right.
You don't need a
Do
license.
you need a license? Do you need an LLC?
You don't need an LLC. No.
Do you need a business?
You don't.
Do you need an office?
You don't.
Do you even need books?
Nope.
Do you need to go learn how to do this?
You do need to.
Maybe
know
a
how to
little
do it.
bit.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna show that actually on
what-
February 24th.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a seminar.
Yeah. So
and Emma's working on whether we can do that online or not.
yeah. So people
we're trying
just
to figure that out.
tune in for that.
The only thing I'm not telling you is the script, how to use the script,
Yeah.
and how to do the paperwork, which I'm going to show all that. This
Yeah.
is the first course in almost 3 years that I've built that I'm actually going to release my paperwork.
Right. And I think paperwork is huge because people can understand the concept, but then there's a huge thing of, okay, what's the right paperwork?
Right.
Because verbiage, words, you're very big into words, Bill.
Yes.
And you know how important that is.
Yes.
And for you to offer that to people is really tremendous.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to close up with this.
Okay.
Okay. I want to talk about my buddy. One of my favorite buddies. Let me introduce you to my little friend.
Oh, no. Where's...
His name... no guns. His name is Henry Ford. I love the guy. My family lives in Fort Myers Beach, and I go there at least twice a year, and I don't go there to visit my family, and my mother hates this, but I don't always go there to visit my family. I go there to go to the Henry Ford Museum. I've gone there more than a dozen times.
That is impressive.
Yeah, I like the guy.
He has a saying that I love, but I'll let you finish.
What's the saying?
Whether you think you can
Yeah.
or whether you think you can't, you're right.
Yep. That's right.
I've
Yeah.
seen that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great.
You're right.
So the reason why I'm talking about Henry Ford, I got to do something about this thing.
Are you allergic to the mic?
No, I think it's got dust in it, and I breathe it in, and it gets in my throat, and I start gagging. And then people around me will tell me I smoke too many cigars, but that's not true.
That wouldn't be it.
Definitely not, especially
No.
since Pete and I are not.
Pete was at the cigar shop. He came to the cigar shop.
You were?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't smoke, but he was there. Well, he did smoke.
You
because
shouldn't
if
be
you just
associating
breathe-
yourself with
Yeah.
such, you know. Okay, well, I was going to use a saying that wasn't so.
Go ahead.
You lie down with a dog that has fleas.
You get
Eventually, you're
fleas.
going to get fleas.
Oh, that wasn't so bad.
I
yeah,
got,
well, I left.
I got fleas, Pete. Be careful.
No, I went home with cigar smell.
Oh, my
For 2
God.
days.
For 2 days.
Like that.
It like gets up into the hairs of your
Well,
nostril.
you roll over in your pillow. You go, why do I smell cigar? My own. Oh, pillow. Oh, honey, come here. I did it to get even with my wife who smokes. You listening, Mary? You want to smell something worse than cigarettes? Try this one on, baby. Didn't work.
Especially since cigars actually smell better than pipes.
Oh, it depends who you ask. Pipes, yes. What were you saying?
Every Friday night, 5 o'clock, you want to talk real estate with me. It's for free. You don't even have to buy me a cigar. I'll probably buy you. 126 Mill Street, called, what is it called?
Cigar World?
Cigar World, thank you. Forgot.
Berlin.
Huh?
Berlin.
Bill,
Farmer
do
Take
they
126.
pay you for this?
No,
They should be paying you for this.
no. 126 Mill Street in Berlin, Connecticut, called Cigar World.
I'm going to start investing
Don't-
in 126 Mill Street.
Don't expect a fancy place, okay? I'm just telling you that. Don't expect a fancy place. But there are some pretty cool people there. Every Friday night, almost every Friday night. This Friday night I have to go to a Christmas party, but every Friday night. Yeah, my networking group is doing a Christmas, but we always do it after the year so we can save money.
Ah,
Anyways, let's get back to the show. So Henry Ford.
Henry Ford.
Henry Ford.
Okay.
Model T Ford.
Here's what I learned from Henry Ford. Now, I've studied him. I read a lot of books. I think the guy was, I don't think he was smart. I think he was very observant, which made him smart.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I believe. It's not like he was a colleged Harvard. Maybe he was. I don't know. That part I've never read.
Mm-hmm.
But he was observant, and he had a big think. And his idea that he brought to the world, that changed the world, was that every American should own a car. From that thought came the assembly line, which is what made him his fortune.
Mm-hmm.
And he made affordable cars for every American. From that thought came what made him popular. Most people don't know this, is that at the time most people were getting $2 or $3 a day for pay.
Right.
He paid $5.
Wow.
From this thought, which every American should have a car, also came, and a lot of people don't know this because when I tell people they look at me like two heads. He created the 40-hour work week because he wanted his employees to drive their cars on the weekend to enjoy their time.
Right. And to be more productive now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the concept came from every American should own a car. And he made them affordable. Now, you had a choice of colors. It was black, black, or black. Right? But they had a car.
They did.
So he reverse engineered it in a sense. Like, I want to wind up here where everybody having a car. Well, then it has to be affordable. How do I make them more affordable? The way we're building was wrong. Maybe, and then he figured assembly line.
Yeah.
But it came from reverse engineering from that point
Right.
back.
So I've done the same exact thing. I've followed, like we were talking about at the beginning of the show. If you want to be successful, then who do you listen to? Successful people.
Yeah.
He's a successful person as far as I'm concerned. Okay? And I'm going to do exactly what he's done. I want to make real estate investing available to every American that wants to do it. If you want to make a few $1,000s a month, you can do this. So this course that I'm making, that will be done in a few weeks, I keep talking about it, I work on it diligently, nights and weekends and everything else, should be done by the end of January, I'm hoping.
Wow.
14 years of my experience you're going to learn in less than a day. And everything you need is in there. There is no skipped gradient. All the paperwork. I show you how to buy the house. I show you how to do the phone calls. I show you how to sell the house. I give you all the paperwork to sell the house. Everything is in there.
Wow. That is huge.
Step by step.
Wow.
You know what I think? Just thinking out loud. I think people are more worried about selling it than buying it.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're going to know how to do it. Exactly, because I show them in this course how I do it.
It is way simpler than you think. The first few times I did it, I just followed instructions, and it worked. You know, people called. A lot of people called. And you've made it even better than when the first few times I tried it.
Naomi's helped with that, yeah.
Yeah, you guys have come up with a really smart combination of ways to get people in the house. So I'm just saying this out loud, that if anybody's thinking, yeah, but what if I do buy one? Because that'll scare the hell out of them.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Well, psst. So what if you do buy a house and it doesn't sell? How much you got invested?
Not
$100.
How much risk is that?
$100.
So even if you buy it and what I teach you doesn't work, which just means you misapplied it or you have a misunderstood word, okay? Even if it doesn't work, how much did you actually invest?
$100.
$100.
The deed's not in your name. You're gonna rent a house from someone with an option to buy, and you're gonna go find your buyer to get the money so that you can pay the seller how much you promised them.
Yep.
It's just that simple. So imagine if you did one of those a month and made an extra $3,000 or $5,000. What if you did one every couple of months? Say you did one and you did $5,000.
Right.
Okay, so $5,000 every other month would be what, $30,000 a year? What would you do with $30,000 a year? That'd be six times you would do it in a year at a $5,000 profit.
Right. Plus, you start accumulating monthly cash flow. Additionally.
Right. If you do them the right way.
Yeah.
So what I like best about the way you're organizing all this, you'll see ads out there on Facebook and other places. Be a bazillionaire with real estate. And I know a lot of people just can't believe that or have it in their heart to that, I'm going to go for it. It's not them.
Right.
But with this system, you could be big with it if you go for it. You could be just any size you want. You can be little. You can test it. You can take it easy if you're chicken. You can do it. And then when it works, you can do more and more. You can make it big.
So
you can make it a big deal.
The reason why I'm doing this is because I have 7 ways to buy real estate. We use them every single day. We've been teaching it for 2 years. It's too much. What I want people to make money.
Right.
I want them to make their $3,000, their $5,000. I want them to make 30 grand, because if they make money doing that, where are they going to come for the rest of the stuff?
Exactly. Yeah.
And then I'm going to show them. They're going to get in my coaching group, and I'm going to show them how to do subject to deals and lease, all the other stuff that I do. But for right now, here's the question that I kept asking myself, and I talked about it already. Once you decide that you want to be a real estate investor, how long does it take you to get the first check? I'm saying 30 days.
And that's doing what you need to do, which isn't that much, by the way.
I'm going to strip down all the false data, because, by the way, who have you been listening to? You've been listening to your realtor. You've been listening to your banker. You've been listening to your attorney. All the people that make money off of you when you do it their way. They don't know how to do this. They don't want to know how to do this because they can't make money off of it.
Right.
So this is kind of like, it's almost like it's an underground method, because the only one that makes money off of it is you. So who's going to teach it to you? Except a guy like me that's doing it. You're not going to find this in the newspaper. You're not going to go online and Google how to use an option. It's not going to be there. How do you do a lease option agreement? Whatever it is, it's a guy like me just giving you their opinion. It's not an attorney. It's not a realtor. It's not a banker. It's not anybody except for somebody that does it like I have done.
Right.
Dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of times.
So if you don't like the system, the system.
Yeah.
Big capital
with the
S.
realtors.
The system, all the banks.
Do you mean the man?
The man.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of systems out there.
Yeah. The big one, every letter capitalized, S,
Right.
Y. The system. This is how you beat the rat race and have your own thing that works.
This is flying below the radar. That's 1,000% legal.
Yeah, but let's not forget something. Some of these people with these houses are having trouble selling them, too. They're stuck.
We help them.
We help them. So this isn't just for us.
It's helping a lot of people.
Well, how about the buyer? They can't buy a house. 81% of this country is not financeable.
Yeah.
Would they want to do a lease option? Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, they love it.
Hell
so
yeah.
if anybody out there is thinking, I want to do real estate so I can make money, good for you. But look bigger. Look how you can help a seller,
people.
help a buyer, and help you 3 times the help. So you feel like you did something good today.
Right.
Not just put some money in your greedy little pocket, but help somebody else.
Interesting thing is you're not buying real estate. You're just controlling it.
Yeah, but we don't say that because that's the whole other. Yeah.
That's why there's no risk, because you're not buying it.
Yeah. You bought
You're
a brick.
controlling it.
You bought a brick in the house.
You bought a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Thus the word option, just like in the stock market. You bought a piece of paper on the promise to pay.
And at the end of the agreement, if you don't sell it, you walk away. I mean, if the realtor doesn't sell your house in the 6 months, what do? Buy it?
No.
Right.
People don't think about, well, are you going to buy it? No. Does the realtor buy it? No. They go home and they just go find another deal. And people accept
Think
that.
about
as the
what you
reality
just
of
said.
life.
They want 6 months. Most of our agreements are 3 months.
3 months.
Yeah.
And at the end, we just may.
Yeah.
What?
At the end, we just may
Buy it.
buy it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
Yes,
where are you going to find that?
Yeah.
It's amazing. And I'm going to tell you, I've had many conversations with my attorney just recently, with my attorney.
Yeah.
I keep telling him that there's a massive, massive gap in our society. And that gap is that people expect realtors to do what we do, and they don't do it. And I'm not saying ace. I mean, some realtors.
Yeah.
I'm not saying every one of them, but 99% of them don't do it.
They figure that the realtors
Every
know
single
all
house we sit in, they complain about a realtor. Every single one for one. Maybe 1 out of 30 houses they won't complain about a realtor.
Yep.
What was that?
Pam's happy about something.
Oh, my wife. Uh-oh, maybe we're going to Florida.
She's going to Florida.
So what happens is there's a gap because this industry called realtor doesn't fulfill the seller's need. And I keep talking about creating a new industry to fulfill that because there's a massive gap. They don't do it. And it's not anybody's fault. It's the industry, the way it's set up.
Yeah, it's the way the market is also right now. I mean, only 18% of the buyers are actually qualified to purchase.
Right.
It's not necessarily the realtor's fault. It gets much deeper than that on the banks and the fiduciary system. And
Yeah, but those are all the problems. That's just life. Makes problems.
Right.
What Bill's talking about is smart people like Bill and other people we know have been thinking how to pull this off, and he's got a way to get it all organized beautifully for you. So it's a matter of how do you solve the problem?
Yes. And make
that
it
a
common.
realtor can't.
Right.
That a buyer
Right.
can't. That a seller can't.
Right.
That a for sale by owner can't. It's a matter of how do you invent an electric light bulb when there's never been one before.
Right.
And
Right.
the funny thing about this is it isn't really that new because people before realtors would
I was
do.
just, that was how I was going
Right.
to end this show. I was going to say
Exactly.
I-
How do you,
realtors came on the scene in 1950s. Prior to that, this is how we did it. So this is
Right.
older than what the realtors are.
exactly.
But it's so lost. It's like
Right.
lost technology. It's a lost system. But it's upgraded. We got Facebook. We got the internet. We have so many tools we can use to make this easier, to reach people faster, sell houses faster, buy them faster, and get people out of trouble faster.
Yeah.
And help ourselves faster too. So it's just how do you solve the problem?
Just making it commonplace so people understand. Because like Bill said, a lot of people are very frustrated with realtors because they expect them to be the experts. They expect them to know all the solutions
And
in
some
the real
are.
estate industry.
Not many.
You're right. There's a few, but
Not many.
but not most.
Average realtor, a good realtor sells 12 houses a year.
Yeah.
Average realtor sells 7 or 8 houses a year. If
Yeah.
you don't have a realtor that's doing 30, 40, 50, or mine does 70 houses a year, they don't get it.
But Bill, even the realtor that's doing 70 houses a year still may not
There's
know
gaps.
all the solutions for everybody. They just have extremely good marketing and a great office, et cetera, but you come across some of the people that
So this is a little bit late in the show to do this. Maybe we'll
Right.
do this next week. Yeah, next week. But think of this.
yeah.
Do you know why a newspaper was invented?
Oh, he said this a few days.
I mean, this is a trick question. I could just
he said it
feel
a few shows ago. You got to remember what he said. He did. Oh man, what was
he
it?
did.
Emma, look it up.
Oh shoot!
It was entertainment, much like a circus. That's why a newspaper was invented. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
I thought it was
But
to control the people. That was something worse than that.
Maybe it is also to control. You know, one thing can always have many, many facets.
Do you know how a newspaper makes money?
Through
Selling
entertainment.
ads.
Selling ads.
Selling ads.
Do you know how the newscaster on TV makes money?
Commercials.
Selling ads.
Buy
Okay.
your next drug, mostly.
Okay, so how do they sell those ads?
Well, they got to get you to watch the show. They got to be exciting.
So
and
the way they
entertaining.
sell the big companies the ads is they say we have this many eyeballs looking at it,
Yeah.
readership or viewership.
Yeah.
Okay, so the only way that they can get that many eyeballs on there is to be an entertainment company.
And sensational. And oh my God, did you see the news last night? Did you see what happened? Did you see the dead guy?
So they make up news and they make it entertainment
Right.
so that you watch it, so they get more eyes looking at it, so they can sell more expensive ads.
Right.
I mean, think of it this way. My buddy told me this some time ago when Trump was running for presidency. He's like, think of this. If Trump runs for presidency, if he becomes president, all these newspapers and all these news stations that are going bankrupt will be millionaires again. Mm-hmm. Look at Fox News. They got
Well,
brand
it
new
happened
studios.
it happened during the election.
CNN got brand new studios. Why?
Yeah.
Because we're all watching. What the hell's a crazy bastard going to do now? And I like the guy. I mean, I'm proclaiming it now. I think
He's
but
kind of crazy though.
you got to be to do what he does. You can't be saying to do what he does. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, to do what he's doing, you can't be normal.
You could be crazy like a fox.
Yeah. The point is that because there was such a significant change in the political system we have, people were watching him.
Yeah.
He actually made all them dirty, rotten sons of bitchin' lying scumbags. How's that?
Bleep, bleep, bleep. Emma is the bleep thing.
The newscasters, he made them millionaires again, and they bash him, them scumbags. He made them because people like us watch what he's doing, and they're able to sell their commercials because they got more eyeballs watching them, and they don't have a respect to even know that.
And maybe they made a deal.
Oh, I think they know that, Bill. I think behind the scenes they're like, we're going to really be bashing you this week.
Yeah. So this was not a good way to end the show because we found out what Bill thinks of the news guy. Obviously, I don't have a good opinion of him.
And we better not start the conversations with the few people that own all the stations who really have the agenda. We won't even start that conversation.
Ooh, let's, yeah.
All right. Emma's giving me
that would be the real
eye.
story.
Emma's giving us the evil eye. We're 10 minutes over or whatever, so we got to get out of here. Okay, so today's show, I want to make sure we summarize. So today's show is episode number 79, How to Buy Real Estate Without a Loan. Have we covered that?
Yes, sir.
We have.
Is there any reason that our listeners can't have a car in the United States at this particular point?
Just chickens.
I'm serious.
What does that have to do with cars?
Peter, yeah, Peter.
Chickens?
Just chickens.
That's the Henry Ford.
Instead of horsepower, it's chicken power?
So I'm serious. No, I'm serious. Peter, stop with your jokes. I'm serious. If an American wants an automobile right now, could he get it?
Yes.
Can every single American own a car?
Yes.
When I get done, every single American, if I have my way, can invest in real estate. They can say, I want to invest in real estate, and within 30 days, get a check.
Yes.
I'm proclaiming that now. I'm going to make that happen. I'm going to shorten up that runway so that if you decide you want to buy and sell real estate, you can get a check quickly. All you have to do is follow the steps, the checklist, and you're going to have your check.
Yeah.
The checklist. And you get your check. The checklist.
Peter.
You're so cheesy.
You said it.
God bless you.
I've been putting up with this for 2 years. Actually longer, 30 years. All right, so that's the summation of today's show. I'm glad you're here. I have no links. I have nothing for you. Just follow us on Facebook, and all this stuff that I'm talking about will be released. Matter of fact, Emma and I made a video because one of the things that I realized is that the best thing I can do for you is stop teaching you guys.
And show us.
So we actually did a real deal.
Oh, nice.
And we documented it in 33 minutes.
Where are people going to be able to find that?
I have no idea.
Just like TV, Bill.
It's on
33
Facebook.
minutes.
30 minutes.
Yeah, 33 minutes, yeah.
It's 3 over.
I'll have that
simple.
link for you next week. We have it on Facebook. We're testing it, and I've had overwhelming response.
Nice.
What we did is we documented each step.
Mm-hmm.
So we actually had 16 steps
Yeah.
that are 2 or 3 minutes apiece. We didn't edit anything. All we did was scrunch them together and put them in a 33-minute video.
Great.
It even includes me choking on my smoking on my cigar in the car. We didn't edit anything.
Maybe you should.
Right, no, I want it to be real. All right. With that said, we're over and out. Stay tuned because I'm going to teach you how to get a check.
Yeah.
On a checklist.
On a
checklist.
Over and out.
Thanks for tuning in to the hottest real estate topics on the planet with Bill and Pete. If you want to continue learning how to buy and sell real estate without money or credit, head over to flippinghouses.club for some cutting-edge real estate wealth tools. Or contact us at info@flippinghouses.club.